Welcome to And I Like Large Parties. Join me as I chat with amazing women business owners in the events industry, some that I've worked with and some that I can't wait to work with. We'll be sipping cocktails while discussing their passions, hurdles, and accomplishments. You're going to love it. Thanks for listening. So I'm sitting down today with Emily Byrne. She's the owner of Caricatures and Silhouettes by Emily Byrne. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
So today we're having tea. It's orange and spice tea. Emily is a tea drinker.
Yes, I
So
am.
that's what we're enjoying. I'm going to have you start by letting people know if they were interested in booking your services, how can they find you? So all of your social media, website, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, I got my website started in 2005, believe it or not. Because that was what everyone was doing back then. If you can remember dial-up and all that.
I do.
And I was able to get the website emilyarts.com.
Oh, nice.
Because Emily Art was already taken. So I thought, I'll just put an S on it and it'll encompass whatever I decide to do. So my website is emilyarts.com, which kind of was cool when I started doing silhouettes because I do caricatures and then I added silhouettes to the mix. So it did become Emily Arts.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah, so that was the first thing. And then Facebook came along. So I got myself a Caricatures by Emily Facebook page. And then Instagram came along and I got myself, actually, I used my email address for that, my old AOL AOL address. Which was M Artiste, which was another one that I couldn't get. I wanted M Artist, M my nickname. Somebody had that, so I stuck an E on the end of it, and I became M Artiste.
That worked out.
So that's Instagram. What else is there? I'm also on a bunch of party sites like The Bash and Gig Salad.
Gotcha.
I have a few agents that represent me in different areas. There's a couple of national ones like thenose.com. And then there's local people who are party planners that have me on their list. And there's venues that have me as preferred vendors. So I have a huge repeat clients tell people about me.
Yeah.
So I never know where my things are going to come from. They come from
So
anywhere.
if someone goes onto your website, are they able to like message you and book you that way?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I said that first.
Is that what you prefer?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I want people to email me. I don't love Facebook Messenger
Right.
Instagram Messenger. When people message me that way, I usually just write back, please email me.
Sure.
At my email address, and that's how I'll get your thing started to finalize your event.
Cool. Okay, so I like to ask every guest that is on the podcast if you had to come up with a signature cocktail or a mocktail or a soda, some kind of a drink that you feel embodies who you are, your business, what would that be? So I will revisit this question at the very end.
Okay.
So this will give you some time to actually contemplate and come up with something. And you can be as elaborate or as simple as you'd like.
Okay. I like that question.
All right. So let's start with you telling me how did you get here? Like what's that journey like?
Okay. Well, every city has a group of people that do caricatures. It's usually not a large group. And most of them start by drawing their entire lives as children. And then they see someone doing caricatures somewhere and they're like, oh, that looks fun. And maybe I could do that. Some of them are lucky enough to live near the beach or a tourist area, and they'll have jobs for them that are waiting, working for a concession company or something like that. I was the kid that drew faces all the time. That's all I ever wanted to draw. I didn't want to draw trees or houses. I wanted to draw dogs, cats, and celebrities. Started with Sonny and Cher. That tells you how old I am. So I just drew and drew. Got married, raised my kids, saw somebody in an event doing caricatures, and I thought, wow, I wonder if I could do that. And it was in Westchester. It was at the art festival that was held at the Art Association on, I forget what street that is. But so I walked up to her and I said, you're not in a resort doing this. Wow, tell me more about this. And she's like, start by drawing your kids. Go practice on their friends. Because I said, how do I get started doing this?
Yeah.
And she said, well, you need to have a portfolio. You need to show that you can do this at events. Just go home and practice drawing fast. Here's what I use. Here's the tools I use. So this was pre-internet. This was like 1996. So I couldn't call her up, and I didn't want to bug her, and be like, teach me how to do this.
Right.
I'll figure out how to do this. There were not many books about how to do caricatures. So it was really all trial and error. And I was working at a school at the time. So the teachers that I knew were encouraging, and they would let me draw things in their classes. They would let me, I was working as an aide. I would take kids out for tests and bribe them by saying, who's your favorite cartoon caricature? I'll draw it when you do this many questions of this paper or whatever. So I incorporated into that. Eventually, I got good enough that people other than the teachers started hiring me. I started to do fairs like Chester County Hospital and Brandywine Strawberry Festival. And then that led to meeting other caricaturists in the Philadelphia area who told me that there was a convention of caricature artists every year. I was in Florida that year. So I put the whole thing on my credit card. I drove to Florida. This was 2003. Met hundreds of other caricature artists and was like, okay, this is the life for me. And it's just been onward and upward ever since then.
Okay.
I just love it. I love drawing faces. I love the smiles when people see their drawings. There's every aspect of it.
You mentioned resorts and the beach. My only experience with caricatures is being a kid and seeing caricature artists on the beach. I think I probably have one somewhere, maybe in my parents' house that, my sister and I had sat and posed for. So I see you doing a lot of weddings and a lot of corporate events. Can you talk to me about, was that always a thing?
No.
Or did something shift where people then started? So talk to me about that.
Absolutely shift. Okay, so when I started, I was doing children's birthday parties. I was doing the festivals and fairs, which are retail. So you pay for your space and you go and you hope that the weather's good and that there's going to be lots of people there. After a while and with consistent improvement, people would hire me and then other people would find out about me. Oh, do you do this at corporate events? Oh, would you do this at a wedding? That was rare back then. Weddings really took off, I'm going to say the late 2005 on. Once I got my website, that's when the other types of gigs started to come in. I also drew at Phillies games for a while. I did draw at Ocean City, New Jersey. I took over someone's stand who wanted to sublet it for a while. So I did that. But now all I do is let's see, just this past weekend, what have I done? I did a client appreciation on Friday night. I did a 55 plus senior community fun day on Thursday. On Saturday night, where was I Saturday?
It blends.
Philly. Oh yeah, I was at the University and Whist Club. I did a family reunion. I did silhouettes at that. And then last night I was at the Executive Network Banquet Center doing a church anniversary party for 150 people.
Okay.
So that just shows you the range of, you never know what it's going to be.
Did you go to school for art or you're completely self-taught?
Nobody's ever completely self-taught. You can draw and make mistakes and you will get better just by consistently doing it. When the internet came along and there were tutorials and things, that definitely helped. But the biggest help was going to this convention and seeing other caricature artists and how they approached. There's many different ways to do a caricature. You can do from the outside in. You can draw from the inside out. Some people do a pre-sketch underneath. I don't do that. Different materials, different papers, different sizes. I had no idea. I was so limited up until I went to this convention and saw all these other ways of doing it.
So once you decide that, okay, this is what I want to do, what does that look like in terms of just the startup? What do you need? We were talking before we started recording about, this bag that you have in your cart. What does that look like for someone that wants to get into this in terms of the investment? What are some things that you need?
It's a minimal investment.
Okay.
Which was another thing that was great because I didn't have a lot of money to do this when I was starting. Well, I got an easel. I got markers. I found out what the preferred markers were, which are discontinued. I don't even make them anymore. Really, I just did trial and error drawing my children and their friends. My kids got to the point where I would be drawing at their party and their friends would all be like, yay, she's going to draw us. And my kids would be like,
again?
Yeah, again. Exactly. So some of the drawings I did of my children's friends, they still have, and they tease me about, you should see the one that you did of me in 1996. I'm like, don't show anyone that. Don't show anyone. Because I don't think I really got good until a few years in.
Okay.
I was adequate, but you don't really find your visual voice till you've been doing it a while.
Sure. So with weddings, why do you think that this has now become a thing at weddings, caricatures and silhouettes? Okay.
Here's one point that whenever someone says, wow, I've never seen this at a wedding.
Yeah.
There's so few caricature artists. You would have to hit a wedding where you saw someone doing it to realize that it's been something I've been doing for 15 years. I mean, weddings and corporate are my two biggest things. If you only, see one artist at it, it's because you happen to hit that one. And the same thing with this live painting that's going on now. There's only a handful of them. People don't have that skill set. It's people like me who have done it for years that can take your observational skills and your fast drawing or painting and apply it to doing it at a wedding. And just people like that are just not that frequent.
Right.
So that's why people are always shocked. They're like, oh my gosh, I never thought of this at a wedding. Well, if you took the 12 people in Philadelphia out of a population of 9 million people and a couple hundred weddings that might be going on that day, we're like a needle in a haystack.
I was going to ask you, so like I do event decor and I feel like there's an oversaturation that I'm seeing with that. But for something like, what you do, it's pretty niche.
It's very.
Okay.
It is not oversaturated. And then there's different styles of artists.
Sure.
Now on TikTok, there are 2 artists that I personally know them from my conventions that do the really extreme style of caricatures, which I don't do because that's just not my thing. But them doing it has brought attention to caricature. So many people sit down and say, did you see this artist that is in Hawaii and they draw people so crazy? And then they film their reaction. I'm like, absolutely. They have helped our art form. So, but that is the extreme end. And then there's the extremely mild end where they're barely more than portraits. They're not edgy. They're not. And some people really want that because they don't want to offend. I'm kind of in the middle. Like when I'm with milder artists, people think I'm edgy. But when I'm with the extreme ones, people think I'm too mild. So you have to pick your flavor, like spicy to extremely spicy.
Gotcha. So of the events that you do, which are your favorites?
Can't answer that one. Everything.
You like them
I
all.
love meeting the people when they're in my chair, which is really crazy because I'm an introvert. But everybody who's in my chair is one person or 2 people. I'm not talking to a crowd. They're all behind me. I'm not on a stage. It's an intimate thing between me and the people I'm drawing. And when I show them their caricature and they laugh or cry or get up and hug me and then they leave, I'm on to the next people.
Yeah.
It's just the perfect job for me. I just still can't believe sometimes that if I hadn't met this lady in Westchester, what would I be doing?
Yeah, it's
honestly.
funny. So let's say at a 150 person wedding, you set up, how many people are you actually getting to draw within the course of a whole cocktail hour and reception?
Really good questions. Okay. So first of all, not everyone is going to want to do it.
Okay.
Secondly, it entertains everybody. If you don't want to get drawn, you're still going to enjoy watching your child or your mother or whoever get drawn. So I always have a much wider audience than just the people I'm drawing. When I always have a line, the bride or groom or whoever booked me has a choice between what type of caricatures I'm doing. There's a slower type that's all shaded and really intensely, it's more detailed. Then there's a coloring book style where I'm only doing the line drawing, which is what I did last night. And there's no color, there's no extras on it. That I can get through 20 faces an hour.
Okay.
So if you have a wedding of 100 people and you hire me for 4 hours, I'll get most of your people. I always do a color one of the bride and groom, so they get a really fancy one to hang up in their house. So it varies on what they choose. Most people do choose the shaded ones. With those, I can do about 12 to 14 people an hour, and I have a 3-hour minimum for weddings.
Okay.
So,
yeah, you do the characters and the silhouettes. Can you talk to me about what is the difference between the two?
Okay. They're both really old art forms that existed for hundreds of years. Silhouettes people are less familiar with because, first of all, everyone can draw, even if it's badly. So people all have an experience of trying to draw something. They understand that. With silhouettes, people that have no experience using a pair of scissors to cut a perfect little detailed profile of someone, so they're in awe. They think it's magic. It's the same skills I'm using for caricature, except that I'm not distorting or exaggerating. I am doing a straight portrait, but I'm doing a drawing with my scissors. Silhouettes are elegant and historical. Caricatures are whimsical and fun. Just depends on what your vibe is. Like people who hire me for silhouettes usually are in a historic venue, or they have some connection to silhouettes, or they've had silhouettes done as a child. I did one thing this summer where I did a birthday party. She had her 5 children done as children in 1969, and this framed silhouette of 5 kids in a circle was on her desk for her entire since 1969.
Yeah.
So one of her children in his 50s contacted me and said, could you recreate this silhouette only of us now? So they sent me pictures. I did silhouettes of the 5 children. I laid them out exactly as they were in this old one. And when they gave it to their mom for her 85th birthday, she sat there stunned. She just was blown away by something that was so precious to her, had been updated for the whole family. And that was a real kick for me. I really loved that.
Do those take longer? So is it shorter than drawing? Oh, it's quicker. Okay.
Oh, yeah. With silhouettes, I can do 20 people an hour too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so what are you getting booked more for? Caricatures or the silhouettes?
Silhouettes is catching up with caricatures because I've been doing caricatures for almost 30 years already. And I have a lot of repeat clients, which is why I'm pushing the silhouettes harder when I do wedding festivals and things like that. So
do you do a lot of expos for weddings?
Not anymore. I tried that one in Wilmington.
Yeah.
I didn't love it.
Okay.
I did not love it. I prefer to do little ones like at Thousand Acre Farms.
Gotcha.
Little one. I did Loblolly Acres. Have you been there?
I have not, but I'm familiar with it.
Okay.
It's downstate, right?
Yeah, it's right below Dover.
Yeah.
When they had their very first wedding fair, I just found out about them. So, I went and did that. And that's been a wonderful relationship. I can't recommend Loblolly Acres more.
Okay.
Really nice people, really nice venue. And just from that one wedding fair with them, it has blossomed into, tons of stuff. So thank you, Loblolly Acres. You guys, I love you.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, usually I don't really do a lot of those expos. I just don't feel like I get don't really get much of a return.
Well, that makes
after
me feel better
doing those.
Too.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of a common thread with some of the people that I have on the podcast when we talk about it.
Seems like people are just there to get freebies. And
yeah,
it never really comes through.
Yeah, it's a lot of work on your end, a lot of setup, and it doesn't really just amount. It doesn't amount to much.
Right.
So that's really great that you had that experience at Loblolly.
I've made even on the 2 big ones that I've done.
Good.
The smaller ones have had better returns.
All right.
Venues that I want to work at.
So let's talk about that. What are some, obviously Loblolly, you really like that one. What are some other venues that you just really like going to?
Thousand Acre Farm.
Okay.
Love that one. Hotel DuPont. I have a relationship with them as well. I've done the Grand Gala caricatures there for years.
Nice.
I've done their wedding show was good. Okay, just around Delaware, Harry Savoy Grill, all the country clubs surrounding Wilmington and DuPont and Ed Oliver. In Cape May, which I'm jumping way over to there, I do have a relationship with Peter Shields Inn. They are wonderful too. And the reason I like to go there is my friend has a little place down there. So if someone wants to hire me for a Cape May thing, which Silhouettes really fits with because it's Victorian. So Peter Shields Inn. Yeah,
because you're all over. What about in Pennsylvania?
Things in Kennett Square. Creamery, the Creamery in Kennett Square. I love that one. I've drawn at Longwood. I've drawn at Winter Tour. Yeah, if you name it, I probably know it. Probably I might even know their event person there.
Yeah.
I mean, oftentimes, when I get hired for corporate things, it might be in their office. Like last year, I did some holiday parties for a real estate group. And it was in their office decorated. School things might be, in their school. If springtime, it's prom season. So it's either in their school or it could be at the casino in Dover.
Speaking of school, I've seen you at certain colleges. Sometimes for their open houses, which I thought was a really, just on their part, that was a really cool idea to have you come in and do those things.
Colleges and senior communities like to have open houses where they want to give something cool to their people. And the great thing about that, it's marketing. Because all my papers either have the logo of whoever it is or the name of whoever it is. And that way I can also say to nonprofits, you can get a donation to cover your entertainment budget that will pay for me, a professional, to come. Because a lot of times I'll get an email, could you donate your time?
I know. Yeah. Got a lot of those.
I usually write back and say, I would love to.
I wish I
If
could.
donate it to everybody. I wouldn't be making a living. And because I'm a professional, this is what my rate is.
Yeah.
But you can have my services free if you do this. And I can't tell you how many clients that has turned over for me to get gigs where they're getting professional services and marketing to all the people that are taking my artwork home that they're going to frame and hang up and look at. How many other things can you say are going to end up where it's in the person's face for years afterwards? Speaking
of marketing, I know that seems to be, again, another kind of struggle and a topic of conversation that seems to be, we're all living the same lives when I talk to people. The marketing aspect of running a small business, it's hard because you don't have the budget that, a huge corporate brand has. It's tempting sometimes when people call you or email you and they want you to come out and do things for free because you think, you're getting your name out there.
I passed that stage a long time
ago. I want to ask you, so what has that been like for you from the beginning to now? And what are some things that you're doing marketing wise that you think are helping you?
Okay. Absolutely. In the beginning, I did things for free. I did things for cut rate. I did things in return for bartering. you do that to get started
Yeah.
because no one knows about you at that point. You don't have a snowball of client. I learned this from one of my fellow caricature artists. Thank you, Oki. Snowball keeps rolling down a hill and getting more and more snow on it. When it's really tiny, you don't have a lot of clients. The bigger it gets, the more and more people know about you, the more they tell other people, the more your reach spreads without even being on social media. As long as you are reachable some way, the people who see you, for instance, the thing that I did on Saturday at University and Whist Club, the client was someone who I cut their silhouette at Deerfield 2 weeks prior. And he said, "Are you available on this day?" And I'm like, well, November is usually not a busy month because it's right between all the fall festivals and Christmas. And I happen to have that Saturday open. I'm like, absolutely. I would love to come and cut at your family reunion. So that didn't exist until he saw me as a guest at someone's wedding at Deerfield. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Every year I look at my calendar that's kind of, like it's sort of filled in on January 1st. And I'm like, wonder how full this is going to be. And by the end of the year, I go flip back through my pages. And I'm like, oh my God, what was I worried about?
Right.
Filled up.
Yeah. That word of mouth is really important. The recommendations, it really is. I think that I get a lot of jobs that way as well. And then they become repeat clients. So it's super important. I don't do much marketing other than
do you pay?
Instagram.
Like
I don't. I've never done any of the Facebook ads or the Google ads. And I know some people do. I'd never done that. And I did the same thing that you did when I first started. The rates are lower. You're doing things for free or in exchange for sponsorships. They like to word it that way, partnerships. And I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm not going to do that. Because
you have to go through it
you
to
do.
realize what your value
I think
is.
you do. Yeah. And I think that's a step that it's a phase that every small business has to go through.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know much about, your industry within our event space, right?
Ask away.
I know for me, florists, people that are supplying event decor, planners, it's predominantly a female-led industry. So I wanted to ask about caricatures and silhouettes. Is it mostly women doing this or men, or is it equal?
Catching up. We're catching up. When I started, it was predominantly male.
Gotcha.
The first convention that I went to, I believe there were like 120 to 150 people and maybe 25 women. Now it's almost 40%. Going on 50%. I mean, I didn't go to this year's convention because I just had a lot going on. Of course, I watched it on Facebook and everything, and it really does seem like we are at half and half, which is where we should be.
Wow.
So in this area, we're pretty close. I mean, there might be slightly more men than women, but most of the people that I work with are women with the occasional guy.
Have you ever drawn someone and then you showed them and they didn't like it? Or
absolutely. Everyone has to go through that. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of times, if it's a couple, the other part of the couple will love it and the other person might not love it. Some people just don't know what they look like. I mean, if they don't like it, it's a 5-minute experience. It's not meant to like crush their lives for the rest of their life. Right. It's supposed to be a laugh. But yeah, all of us.
But you won't. I mean, it's not like something that you're not going to redo it. To me, it's just this is it. Sorry you didn't like it.
Yeah, okay. Sorry you didn't like it.
Okay.
Because usually everybody around is like going, "That's so you." And,
right.
That's exactly what you look like. It happens rarely.
Okay.
Because my likenesses are pretty spot on.
Have you ever had anybody cry when you've shown them something?
Out of happiness.
Oh, out of happiness, not sadness. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I've had people cry out of happiness. Have anybody cry? I'll tell you my one reject story that really sticks out. I was drawing a little girl at an event and she had gaps in her teeth and I drew her like that. And the mom was watching and she said, "I don't like how you're drawing her teeth." And I'm like, "Well, she has gaps in her teeth and that beautiful big smile." And she says, "Well, can you fix the gaps?" And I said, "I'm sorry, I've already left gaps. I mean, unless I draw more teeth in, I can't really fix it." And she's like, "Well, we don't want it." And she walked away. And the little girl was crushed. When she saw it, because she didn't see it while I was drawing it.
Yeah.
She looked back and looked at it. She's like, oh, Mommy, I love that. And Mom that was it. She did not like the teeth on it.
So what are some of your, let's say, top 5 business tips?
Well, you have to love what you're doing. That's applies to everyone. If you don't enjoy drawing and you don't enjoy creating something on the spot and seeing the reaction of the people. Why are you doing it? Secondly, I would say be organized. Have some kind of software that helps you with where's your gigs, when's your gigs, have they paid the deposit? I use something called 17 Hats.
I do too.
Oh, do you really?
You are the first person that I've interviewed that actually uses that. Everyone uses Honeybook.
I got in right when it started.
Okay.
So
I've been, this is maybe 3-4 years for me now. Yeah. I mean, I like it for what I need it to do. Right. But yeah, you are literally the first person I've talked to that actually uses that or heard of it.
Well, you use it, so you're going to understand. I got my friend on it too, and I got if you get someone to
like a referral. Nice.
You get a little stipend. It keeps all I do is open it up and look at my dashboard and see coming up gigs, where they're at, if they've paid their deposit, if I need an insurance certificate, if I need a W-9, post gig, I put the photos that I take in the files. With
nice.
It tells me if I've sent them a thank you email and the photos that I took are sent to them. That's like my biggest business tip. There's have something. I've never seen the other one, but I've heard of it.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Honeybook.
Who is that from?
I don't.
Their own thing?
I'm not really sure who the developer is behind that, but I know that it's hugely popular. Photographers, folks that do what I do with event decor, everybody is using it. And I have always been in the minority because I don't use it.
Yeah, I think there's only like 20 or 30,000 people on 17 Hats, and their customer service is fabulous.
Okay, I haven't had to contact them, but that's good to know.
Give me some more areas to think about. What else I could tip?
How about managing your financials? Do you have any words of wisdom on that?
I just give the accountant. No.
So you have an accountant?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean that right there is a business tip.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, when I started out, I was just going to HR block.
Yeah.
And letting them. I mean, there were probably a lot of things I could have been doing that an HR block person wouldn't have known or suggested or anything.
Sure.
But now I have an accountant, so.
All right. So what are some challenges maybe that you faced at the beginning of your career, and maybe some challenges that, are new or they're just they're just always going on kinds of challenges?
So many challenges in the beginning because I didn't know what I was doing business-wise. The only part where I felt confident was the drawing part. I worried about finding places. I worried about being on time. I worried about people more professional than me, not, seeing through the what do you call that? When you think you're a fake?
The imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I had that pretty bad. I still have it a little bit, but not as bad as in the beginning.
I think we all do.
Like all these corporate types.
Sure.
And I'm trying to run this like one person, or being taken advantage of by some people, and being able to pick up on that quicker. That's kind of gone away. What I'm challenged by now is how busy I am.
Okay.
I mean, I do, this year I'm on track to do like maybe 120 events.
Wow.
Last year I didn't top 100. In 2020 I did 17.
Yeah.
All in the summer.
Yeah.
Remember that summer where everybody was doing stuff outside. With masks on?
Yep. Yeah, I do.
It was all from like July to October. And then it slammed shut again. Nothing at Christmas and nothing before July.
Yeah. So since this is a podcast that focuses on women in the events industry, are there any just maybe challenges specific to the fact that you are a woman in this space that you're in?
Well, we're definitely taking it seriously as men artists. I don't think there's any problem because the proof is what you're putting out. Not your personality. It's not the other stuff. It's as soon as you do the first caricature or the first silhouette, you have their respect because that's why you're the professional. They can't do what you're doing. They can't give that joy to people that I do every 5 minutes. That's one of the main reasons I love this.
So you said that caricature artists, you said about 40% of them are women. So there's been, a bit of a shift there. What advice would you give a woman that wanted to get into this business?
There are some younger ones that have appeared. I mean, and I'm glad because if people are doing all digital and all computer stuff, the people who have real analog skills are going to be super rare. I mean, one of my friends, like when AI started getting really big and there are apps that can do caricatures and they're not good, but it's happening. And if they improve, are people going to choose having a robot or a machine do what we do? Or are they going to prefer a human being drawing it out of themselves? Because I also compare us to singers. A lot of people don't realize that when you're creating something, it's coming from somewhere. It's coming from here. It's coming from here. So you're giving them something of yourself. Robot or machinery or AI is not giving you. They're giving you something created from tiny little bits of thousands of artists, which is why it's a conglomerate. It's not a unified thing the way what we do is.
So would you say these folks shouldn't be discouraged by AI?
If you have real skills, people will want to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's why people stop on the boardwalk and watch the people with the spray paint or watch the people on the stilts. You want to watch a robot do that?
Right. No.
You know, do you want the people in Vegas that are walking around doing performances and stuff? It's just not as cool when it's a robot. I mean, even the Blue Man Group isn't robots. They look like they are, but they're human beings.
Yeah.
You know? I'm hoping that humans are going to still be what people want to be entertained by.
Yeah, me too. So what's next for you?
I'm still pushing the silhouettes. I want to do those more. I'd like it to be half and half.
Okay.
It's probably about a third maybe right now. I mean, this was a really heavy silhouette month, but it's so rare. There's 3 people that I know of in this tri-state area. There's a lady in Baltimore, there's a guy in New Jersey, and there's me. That's the only people I can recommend when I'm already booked somewhere else. I'd like to do more museum type events with the silhouettes, like at the American Museum of the American Revolution or places like that. So I want to, like there's a historical society in Westchester. I want to contact those people next year and see what I can do for those people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it. I hardly ever have time when it's not like January and February to do anything. Just getting through all my gigs and all the stuff that accompanies them and having a life.
Yeah.
I'm so busy. I don't want that to change.
Right.
But I'd like it to be more silhouette gigs.
Okay. Yeah. I think that just in your answer, I feel like there was another business tip in there. Putting yourself out there and sometimes being the person that makes the initial contact.
Oh, yeah.
And reaching out.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know where that actually might lead. So I think that's actually like a good thing that you pointed out. All right. So I want you to remind everyone where they can contact you if they're interested in booking you.
EmilyArts.com. On Instagram, it's martiste, and that's EM, and then the word artiste. On Facebook, it's Caricatures by Emily. You can find me on the Bash by just putting in caricature artist or silhouette artist in Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware. Those are the main ones. Yeah, Geek Salad, I'm on that too.
Okay, sounds good.
Bash is more, I get more things from the Bash than Geek Salad.
All right, so I will revisit that question now about your signature drink.
All right.
So what would that be?
The alcoholic one would be Empress Gin and Empress 75, which is Empress Gin, Prosecco. I think it has simple syrup in it. And tonic water, like rosemary tonic water. That's that one. That's the girly one. And the non-alcoholic one would be some kind of tea, maybe a chai tea latte.
Okay.
Those are my 2.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Well, I'm really glad that you, again, were able to accommodate me and come see me today and sit down, because I know it was a challenge. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Because I've been watching you on your socials and you've been watching me for a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would like that. I like to end the podcast with a toast.
All right.
What shall we toast to? What do you think?
A wonderful 2026 with the gigs that we want to do and one together.
That sounds good. I like it. Cheers.